So when people think of vision boards, often they think of something that goes along with New Year's resolutions. But I don't know about you, but for me, September really feels like the beginning of a new year. Summer's ending, we're getting back to work, getting into the swing of things. And so I thought it'd be really great today to talk to this expert, Debbi Sluys. And Debbi is the founder of the Dare to Declare Academy. This is a 6-week program with added support that helps coaches attract their ideal clients, attract more income, and achieve their goals by becoming certified Dare to Declare vision board facilitators. So if you're into vision boards, you got to know Debbi. Debbi, welcome.
Thank you so much, June. I appreciate that. And yeah, I love that you've noted that September is really that second new year and that we just feel this sense of freshness. I don't know if you walk into like a store that's, like Staples or where it's got school supplies. And even though, school's been so far behind me, but I always get this sense of anticipation.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting. And you want to go shopping for new clothes. Yeah, awesome. So, Debbi, you're an expert in vision boards. And so today we're going to talk about 5 ways to create a better vision board because I've created lots of vision boards, but everybody's got a different methodology. And I know you do something very unique and you go very deep into it. So, let's start with that. What are some ways that people can create a better vision board?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to think about is that there's a distinction between vision and goals. And even many experts interchange them, like, and but they still talk about it as a vision board, but what they're actually describing are goals. And so one of the things that I like to work with my clients is the ability, the freedom to express their vision, which feels really scary. Goals are something that's a little bit closer to us that we can just pull ourselves up in the bootstraps, get her done, and just create small steps forward. And there's a place for that. But it really begins with a vision, which feels a bit crazy. It feels really big, as I said, and scary. So I like to define it as something that you cannot physically accomplish on your own. It really requires divine intervention. And so, if you think about all the amazing inventors and creators of our time, they were most often thought of as a bit wacko because their ideas were so far out there. So we get to do the same thing with our life where it's something that, wow, my vision is to, travel with my family and, live, as nomads or whatever it might be. But my husband's got a full-time job. I got a full, like, how is this even going to happen? So the how doesn't come into play when you create your vision. And so I think that's the first place to start is that you clear space in your mind. You give yourself the liberty, the permission to create a really big vision. And then we work on goals after. So I think that would be the first point is to distinguish between those two concepts.
Right. So start with vision. And it is a vision board, right? Yeah. So not necessarily, because I think that is something a lot of people do is like, oh, okay, well, in the next 12 months, I want this, 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 and this, right? But then taking it from a bigger perspective. Awesome. Yeah. What's number two?
So number two is to when you actually create your vision board. So this is a more practical tip is that when you create your vision board that you avoid doing it as many, if you look on Pinterest or Instagram, most of them look like very busy collages. In fact, some people would talk about collaging in the same language as doing a vision board. My methodology supports my clients to leave white space. So if you think about margins in a book, the words don't run all the way across. I mean, you just would pick up this book and go, there's no chapters in here, there's no margins. Like how's my mind supposed to distinguish and organize this information? It just feels confusing. Or, if you walk into a very cluttered room, that just doesn't make sense. It's just got things here and there. You just get this feeling of tension. So even though we want to have adventure, color, and lots of variety in our board, you want to give the eye a place to rest because the whole point of the vision board is about focus. So, and that's the other piece I can talk about later, but it's about having that daily focus on your board. So our minds thrive best with a sense of order. So instead of creating disorder with a collage, create order with the composition of your vision board by leaving some white space.
Okay. And does that also like psychologically kind of leave space for things to breathe and to come in through the margins and to happen?
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Cool.
feeling this one. Hey,
Yeah.
this makes sense. Yeah. And I think when people hear it, all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, that really does make sense. And, I can relate it to your home. If you think about your artwork, sometimes we will put things together, in a vignette, but we give it the respectable space that it deserves. It's not like everything's crowded on one wall all together.
Right.
It's like it gives it the respectable space that it deserves.
Right. Cool. Okay. So don't overlap and pile stuff on top of each other.
Got it.
What
Yeah.
what about like if you've got like, I mean, I think about my vision board right now, which I should have brought down, but if you've got like two things that are on top of each other because it creates like a unified picture. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And
that
there's
sort
no
of
right or
collage?
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
There's no right or wrong. And I had people resist this because some people really like the idea of the collage. And
Hmm.
so what they've done is I lead people through, this is another point, we can jump to this one, is 7 life areas. So I lead people through 7 life areas. And so what they'll do is they'll bunch them together based on those areas, but they're still giving them some space so that they can focus
Right.
on, oh, okay, so this is for my my education. This is my spiritual vision. This is what I want for leisure. But they will put them together. And again, there's no right or wrong.
Right. So would that be number three then? So include all the life areas.
Yes. So most people really get focused in, especially if you're an entrepreneur, on business
Hmm.
because they think the money is the answer to everything. And when I'm doing well in business, then everything else will fall into place.
Hmm.
Whereas actually it's all the areas, because how we do something somewhere is how we do it everywhere. So I like
Mm.
to break it down into 7 areas. Leisure, which includes vacationing, but it could be staycations, your backyard. Education, which not in the formal sense, more like, what do you want to learn about?
Yeah.
So maybe I've always wanted to learn to play the piano. I've always wanted to learn to paint or to sculpt. Spiritual. So whether you're a religious person or not, having that connection to a higher power is important to have that full vision. Professional. So that doesn't include your work life, but also could include volunteering. So
Hmm.
where do you want to give back? Is it with children, saving the environment, animals? Your financial vision. And so one of the mistakes, I'll just throw an extra tip in here, is people often put bags of money or money trees or dollar signs on their vision board. That is a how. So remember I talked earlier about the difference between goals and vision. It has
Right.
no emotional connection to us. It's just a dollar
Right.
sign. In fact, I think if anything, it almost has the opposite because we've been so conditioned to think about hard, cold cash or
Right.
feeling masculine or whatever it is. So I would discourage you from putting that on your board, but rather going beyond that to when you're feeling this financial freedom, what does that look and feel like?
Right. What would
And
that
then
achieve in your life?
pardon?
What would that bring in your life? Yeah.
Yes,
What's the
exactly.
outcome? Yeah.
Yeah. And then personal, which has to do with relationships, and that could include with your partner, maybe with your maybe you're estranged from your parents, or like whatever it is that you want to embody relationships in your life.
Mhm.
And then, oh, sorry, I mixed them up. Relationships and then personal actually has to do with self-care. So what
Okay.
does self-care look and feel like for you? And maybe that is a beautiful new bathroom, right? A beautiful spa feeling bath that you just take care of yourself. Maybe for me, I just purchased all new makeup.
Mhm.
So I'm wanting to feel this sense of renewal. Now that's more of a goal than a bigger vision, but you get the idea of
Mhm.
what that means. So yeah, so those are the 7 areas. So leisure, education, spiritual, professional, financial, personal, and relationships.
Okay, let me ask you a question off on a tangent. How often should you do a vision board?
Great
And how long
question.
is your vision board for? Like, is there a expiry date or what do you say about that as the expert?
The whole process is very intuitive. And so the more often you do it, the more I'm sure you've already felt that as you do them, you feel more connected to the process. So I would say let your intuition guide you, but typically they expire within a year to 18 months. This has
Hmm.
just been my experience. Now, it doesn't mean that they're all manifested,
Yeah.
but you have moved to a new level, new experiences in your life, and you're like, I'm ready. I'm at a crossroads, or I just feel like I need a new expanded vision. And what I would say is keep your vision board intact. Don't pull off pictures and put it onto the next board. allow the process to, again, be renewed and to see what shows up for your next board. So to piggyback off that as well, don't put bumper pads, just like I talked about the vision. Don't put bumpers on your vision board to only have it be for a year or 18 months. So again, then you're getting back into that goal mindset,
Like it
which is
has to be done
realistic.
by a certain time. And yeah.
Right. So I mean, as I said earlier about that nomad lifestyle, you're like, oh, I don't know how that would happen in a year and a half. Let it go and see what happens in terms of the miracles that start to show up. So just your responsibility is to dream big, put it on the board, and then get into smaller steps towards your goal towards that. Now, it may take longer to manifest, but I've seen miracles. It's just extraordinary.
Cool. Okay. So what's number 4?
Okay. So number 4 is another practical tip. So you can see my vision board is about 5 feet behind me. And yet even from this distance, you can see some of the images. So what I do recommend is that your images not be any smaller than the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Just a little tip for a couple of reasons. One being practical, so that you could have your board sitting in a distance away and be able to see it and still have that, maintain that focus. And the other is that it's saying to the universe, hey, universe, this is what I want. Pay attention. It's not like a little squeaky voice saying, oh, maybe I want this, or maybe I want that.
Right.
I've discovered this magazine, this vision board magazine, which I love. And the only problem I have that I wouldn't actually completely be partnered with them is that their images are small, too small. And because the other psychological part of it is that if you feel like, oh, I'm going to try to put as many images on the board as possible, you're also then in that scarcity mindset. It's like, I'm just going to try to put as much as I can and hope something happens.
Like hoarding.
Right?
It's like you're hoarding. Yeah.
Hoarding your visions, right? And just hoping then, hoarding your visions. Right? Yeah.
So it really does require you to prioritize too, because you might have multiple and you may have conflicting visions too, right?
I've never had conflicting visions. That's interesting. I'd like to explore that, but I've never had conflicting visions, but I have had where people get really down a rabbit hole, so to speak. And it's just like, I have to bring them back to that 7 life areas to say, okay, so it looks like health is really, forefront of your mind. What else do you want for a vision? So I know that you want to get healthy, but let's explore these other areas as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's people often like the area that's lacking the most in their life at that time, or where they feel needs the most improvement. That's where they're naturally going to gravitate towards. But it's interesting, yeah, because the other places can support that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you need that. Like if you're having money issues, you need to have downtime so that you can think better, right? Like, or if you're having health issues, you need to have time with friends to bring joy into your life. So yeah, they all complement each other. So that's a good point.
Yeah, because where our focus goes, our energy flows.
Yeah.
And I love that you just said that about health and family, for sure. And I think as women, oftentimes we think that we can't have it all. So, oh, I got to focus on my work right now. Or, oh, my family really needs me, so my work's going to have to sort of wane, where it's like, no, I get to have it all.
Right.
And so we get to focus on all of that. And I get to put all of that on my board because all of this is possible.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So what's the 5th one?
The 5th one is the last part of the workshop, which is how to use your board. So it's one part is to clear space, to create that vision, and then to actually put the vision board together. The last part is the name of my company, Declare. Declare your vision. So as I said, you're doing it in various ways. One is by having those large images, the way you are arranging them. But the last piece is saying it out loud. And so this is really important where you have, I love that you brought up your circle of friends, where you have your circle that you trust. And that, so if you feel that someone's going to judge it, question it in any way, question your choices, they don't deserve to see your vision board, because this is a very intimate experience. But the power of declaring it actually increases the rate of manifestation by 78%.
Right.
So you definitely want to say it out loud and say it in a way as though it's already in your life. Right. So taking your vision board and showing the images as though like this, so this is my house.
Hmm.
I love spending time here. So tell the story, right? I love
Right.
spending time here. I bake here with my family, whatever it is. And then the other complementary component to that is affirmations. And so my mentor, Jack Canfield, I got to see him in California last year. He co-wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He and Bob Proctor both have this protocol, which is I'm so happy and grateful now that. And so
Hmm.
you fill it in with what your desire is. Usually, again, it's like a goal,
Hmm.
something, but that goal then is attached to your vision board. And it's like rocket fuel to manifest your vision board. I mean, I've given you some tips about how to focus, but when you add the affirmations to that and you reprogram your subconscious and cancel out the paradigm that may be sitting there that says, I can't have it all. And
Right.
like, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and whatever it is, I'm attracting one high paying client a week or whatever it is, that power of autosuggestion reprograms that, which then accelerates the attraction, which is the law of attraction. We talked about that, but and attracts it to you.
Very cool. Okay, so let's recap 5 things to know. And these are things that, if you've been doing vision boards, pay attention because this is gonna change the way you do vision boards.
So when you start with a vision board, you want to start with a vision. So distinguish between vision and goals and check in with yourself. Is this something that I already know the how I can actually accomplish this? Because our ego wants to go there, give ourselves the gold star, the check mark. It's got to be bigger than that. So that's number one. Number two is to leave white space. So like margins in a book so that it has a space to breathe. Number three is to cover all areas, as many as you can. So not just focusing on one or two areas, but that's not us as a whole person. So you want to embody the whole person on the board. Number four is to have your images be larger than the palm of your hand so that you are truly declaring with your choices, you're giving intentionality to it. And number five is that you declare it out loud to someone you trust and add an affirmation to it. And you're off to the races and you'll be manifesting in no time.
Nice. So one more question. Is there a good size then for a vision board? I was just thinking if everything's this palm of your hand size and you've got all the areas of your life, what would be like an ideal size for a vision board?
Yeah. So, I mean, these are additional tips. I highly recommend it actually being tangible and paper. I am not a proponent of digital. It
Hmm.
accesses a different part of your brain. So my foam core board or my photo frame is 20 by 30 inches.
Okay. So
It's
that's very,
large.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a
But
big life. It's a big vision.
a bonus is take a photo of it and you can carry it around as your screensaver.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, so you can be constantly looking and thinking about it. Very good. Very good, Debbie. Well, it's really interesting work that you're doing. So how can people get in touch with you or find out
Yeah,
more about what you do?
thank you. Yeah, so my website is my name. So it's debbisluys.com. And you can check out there on the homepage is like June was talking about the Academy as well. I have some other offerings. I do individual workshops. I do group workshops for vision boards. So I still am also offering those. And can I talk about the asset right now, the gift?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So on the homepage as well, there are actually two. There is an e-guide. So if you like the 5 tips we just gave you, there's a full guide to, you could literally use that guide and create a Dare to Declare vision board from that. So you can download that. So that's free on my homepage. And then second thing is there is a quiz. It takes 2 minutes and it's 3 areas, which are really the framework of a vision board workshop, which is dreaming, discovering, and declaring. And it just gives you an idea of how big do I dream? How deep do I discover? And how loud do I declare? And it'll give you a score to see where you are excelling, where you're maybe challenged with, and it might open up a great conversation with you and I.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Debbie, for being here. And if you're watching this, I would love for you to comment on what's on your vision board. What's one big vision for you that you want or that you're going to put on your vision board? Declare it. Declare it here. Say it aloud. Well, write it in comments. You can put that below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you're not subscribed already to this channel, subscribe. And if part of your vision is to grow your business and attract more people, but social media isn't doing it for you, you can download my freebie, How to Find Clients When Social Media Isn't Doing It For You. So Debbie, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, everyone, you got this.